خيار جديدة شلما لخن أنا يون مغبانو خنين بلاماسو قابلو خن يوم مشينا بدا خلقتا خدتا من خرزة غدايوت من يولبانا وقدا ساما إلي أو سامد إمرخلي أرخد نينب قدايا خلقتا خرزا بتهاوي بليشانا إنجليشايا من سبب أرخد داها خرزة يعني أرخد نينب جوبيتان إديوم إلي غدام يقرطها قد أنيانا أمو بتهاوي بليشانا إنجليشايا. Hello, my name is Blamasu, and this is an iota of knowledge program which is broadcasted to you via Ishtar TV. Today our program will be conducted in English because our guest today, a guest of Nineb, is a wonderful friend who does not speak Assyrian, but did something for the Assyrians, no?
Yes.
Yeah, so it is our esteemed colleague and friend لانا Haddad. لانا, welcome to an iota of knowledge program on Ishtar TV.
Shlama and Basima for the invitation. I'm very, very happy. I hope maybe in 1 or 2 years I can do the interview again with you in Assyrian.
Well, you are almost there.
Almost.
You say 2 words in Assyrian.
2 words for a day. Maybe I will reach it in a year for complete sentences.
Actually, there should be some courses in here in Erbil on Assyrian languages for language for non-Assyrian speakers.
I would be very happy because I always love languages and I have learned Akkadian, an ancient language, but it's a dead language, so it's not about talking, it's only grammatics and learning the cuneiforms. I forgot most of them. So every language you learn, it makes a process for your brain, and I would love to learn more languages. And I live in Ankara, so it would be nice to talk with my neighbors.
What better place to learn Assyrian?
Exactly.
So you mentioned about your background in having studied cuneiform Akkadian. So let's start from there, really. Can you tell us more about your background? I mean, لانا Haddad. Who is لانا Haddad?
لانا Haddad is a little girl born in Erbil, but when I was 6 years old, we left to Germany. And I always thought, okay, after a few years, we will come back. So I tried really to be connected to my homeland and with my relatives and not forgetting my language and all this. And I always loved history. So after years, you see, we are not coming back. Yeah. So I was thinking, okay, what do I want to do when I grow up? And my love to history was always there, but I was like, okay, but you want to study history? It will be just reading books and writing articles. It's kind of a little bit boring. And I always wanted to have a profession that connects me back to Iraq. And then I came up with archaeology. So you have the research, the reading, but also the practicality of working in the field. And also archaeology in Iraq, the homeland of civilization, Mesopotamia. So this was the best choice, actually. So I started in 2009 to start archaeology at the University of Frankfurt, where I finished my MA. I started the PhD program, but in the past 10 years, I have worked in like 12 projects, something like this, in Jordan, in Egypt, in Syria, which was my first excavation, and especially here in the Kurdistan region of Iraq, and where I always came back again and again. And then 2 years ago, I made my decision to come back here completely, because I thought, okay, if I'm doing archaeology, we have a lot of archaeologists in the Western countries, and it's kind of a high competition and very few job opportunities. And I was like, okay, but if I continue staying in Europe, what is the impact for me to my society in Iraq? Because all these wars, like 4 decades, we have only war. And when you talk to the people, they are very detached to the heritage. So I thought, okay, if I work in Germany, I don't have this impact to my community than if I would have here when I work here. So this is like why I decided to come back 2 years ago.
Where did you excavate in Syria and where here in Iraq?
In Syria, I worked in 2010. I worked on 2 sites in the area of Qamishli and the other in Ras Al Ain, or how the Kurdish call it, Sarkani.
And we call it Rishena.
Rishena. The Aina is the Ain.
Yeah. It used to be a huge bishopric in early history of Assyrian Christianity.
Yes, yes.
How about in Iraq?
In Iraq, I worked mostly close to Halabja and an area between Halabja and Slemania called Sharazur area, where you have a lot of Sasanian remains, but also Neo-Assyrian and older, like all the regions have all periods actually covered. And I worked also in the Hook region. It was more like a survey where we were mapping the ancient sites. And I worked in Ahmadiyya at the gate. There were many different projects, but mostly in the Sharazur area where I spent like 4 years or something like this.
You touched on a very important subject. You said 4 decades of war, really intensive war.
Yes.
And consecutive, almost without a breather, has detached the Iraqi people of their cultural heritage. What's the importance of cultural heritage in any society and in Iraqi societies specifically?
I believe this is also what draws me to history and archaeology, because I think if you want to build a future, you need to go back in the past to see what happened, what are the strengths and the weakness of a region historically, politically, etc., to do better in the present. So I really believe that, because I feel like many people have a very short memory. They always remember the last 1 decade, and all their efforts for the future is based on this. But if you go back to the past, you can learn a lot. And also, like, we have in the society a lot of symptoms, but when you want to solve the symptoms, you need to go deeper, and this is always rooted back in the past. And especially for our region here, we live in a very, very diverse country. We have people with different ethnicity, people with different languages, dialects, religion, and so on, traditions and all this. And it used to be richer than it is now, because with the modern time, it's getting more and more unified. With the imported ideology of nationalism, also more people try to be uniformed and to be like one, while forgetting that actually our power in this country or in this region is our diversity. Because here every village has a different dialect, and this is something beautiful. It is not like beautiful to say we have one language and this are the rules and that's it, because language is fluid. It's never fixed in one way. And I love this. I love the diversity, and this is something I am proud of. I don't like to unify everything and to say, that's it, this is the country, here it looks like this, and I will put some definitions and that's it. Because the diversity shows how complex it is, and all our relationships are complex. It's not that easy, and it should not be easy. It's nice to always discover new things. And looking into the past, especially to the ancient period, there we learn how our diversity emerged actually. Because we call now the Assyrian Empire or the Akkadian Empire or the Sumerian Empire, but it doesn't mean that everybody was Assyrian in the Assyrian Empire. Not everybody was Akkadian in the Akkadian Empire, and so on and so on. Also, like when the Greek came, it doesn't like change everybody became Greek because Alexander conquered the region.
Mesopotamia.
Yeah, so this was something I like always to mention to people, like this diversity is deeply, deeply rooted into this country or into this region. And this is like a resource that we should be proud of and continue, because we continue to live in a diversity. Like most people here, they grew up at least with 2 languages. And this is something beautiful. You don't have this in many countries.
So now, as part of your love for ancient culture, history, archaeology, and I believe even to strengthen or bridge the Iraqi society with its ancient cultural heritage, you've developed something, haven't you?
Yes.
What is it? Let's tell us about it.
So because you asked me in the beginning, like, to tell more about my background, who is لانا حداد. So لانا حداد is not only an archaeologist, but I also a passionate player, gamer, whatever. Yani, since I'm young, I love to play, and I never lost this passion about it. Because in my personal life, I'm not competitive, but when I play, I love to be competitive, and I love to play seriously. Yani. So growing up in Germany, I played a lot of strategy board games, and many have like a theme of history or archaeology. But when you look, they just use the names, but there is no real context. And since I'm an archaeologist and I love to play strategy games, I created my own for focusing on the Assyrian Empire, where I want to make this bridge with the academic knowledge, put it down in a very easy way to consume for people, and having a product that is amusing, bring people together, bring families together, to have a conversation on history, but also like having just fun. So that's why I made Urbillum, the Assyrian Empire, a strategy board game.
Urbillum, the Assyrian Empire strategy game. I mean, it's not just any game, it's a strategy game.
Yes, so it's not like a game
Why
that you
a strategy
just play.
game? Why not just Assyrian Empire game?
So-
Strategy seems like there is something fishy about it there.
No, it's not fishy. It's actually, I think, because if you go back to history, if you want to develop, you need to have strategies in your life. Because if you are like a machine, you wake up in the morning and you do the same things, you are not using any strategies. But in life, every human wants the easiest way of life and wants to achieve things. And then every human naturally uses strategies. So strategy board games are actually the best tool to train this, on to making decisions, making sacrifices. It's a game to support your intelligence.
To develop your intellectual capacities.
Yes.
I love it, to be honest. I mean, we met almost like a year ago.
Yes, yes.
It was an event in Goethe Institute in Erbil. And I remember walking in, there were stalls, right? And selling all kind of stuff. And then I saw, Orbelium, cuneiform. Look at an Indian-looking person. What is it? And then I bought one. I must admit, I haven't played it. But I use it as a decor, in the living room. I love the back. I love the back. I mean, I wear it proudly when I go out shopping, because you know how it is in the grocers in here.
Yes, yes.
I mean, they give you all sort of plastic bags,
plastic.
and that's environmentally unfriendly. So I use this. I mean, you may not be very happy for me to tell you I use it for my fruits and vegetables. But
I am very happy that people are using it not only to carry the game, but also to use it in their daily life. So this makes me very happy to know that you are really using for the purpose of it, to carry groceries.
I love the design. I actually love it. But now, enough about the bag. I can go on about the bag for a long time. So this is the game, right?
Yes.
Is it available, and where is it available?
It is now available in Erbil in a shop called Hopeful Hands in Ankawa. You can order it via Lezo. You can order it via Lezo in Erbil, Slemani, and Duhok.
Okay, for those that don't know, Lezo is an app for food and all other things, almost like your Amazon's,
Like an
but with
Amazon.
food, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it started with food, home
but they
delivery,
developed
and
very
developed.
big.
Yeah, so Lezo.
Yeah, and in Baghdad, there is a small shop called Hili, which is a Sumerian word,
Yeah.
which means love, where she has like handmade products from Iraq. And
Noor, I think, right?
Noor.
Yeah,
Noor
yeah,
Hashim.
wonderful person she
Yes.
is. Yeah.
And in Beit Tarkib, which is like an artist house where they also sell the game for me.
Wonderful. So, how about the diaspora?
There is a lot of requests from Australia, from America, from the US, from the European Union, and also from Canada. And there are a lot of Assyrians on the other side and a lot of Kurdish people on the other side, because the game is made in Iraq. The game is in 4 languages. It's in English. This is like the original how I wrote it, and then I translated it into Arabic, Kurdish, and Syriani. And this is something that only this information attracts a lot of people because people are like, what? There is a game in our languages. And especially me, myself, I grew up in the diaspora. I was always craving for things coming from back from home. And especially if they are innovative. So this is very innovative and it is including a lot of communities. So I get a lot of requests, but it's like an underground project. So I'm not a big company yet. So I hope next year to plan a little bit better and improving the packaging, etc., that I can start also selling outside the country.
So really, it's educational. It's fun, and it's a tool for social cohesion also.
Yes, it's inclusive.
Yeah. So you mean the instructions are on in all these languages? English?
Yeah, it's not only instruction, because you have like a few pages instruction how to play the game, but then you have like the historical and archaeological background of the Assyrian Empire, and with the focus of 5 Assyrian cities.
The heartland of Assyria, per se.
The core. Yes.
The core. I think you said you're competitive.
Yes.
Yeah? I don't know. My son tells me I'm competitive, only because he's competitive, but my wife agrees with him. So I don't know. What do you think? Should we play the game? I would like to, if you agree.
I would love to.
And I think that's would be the best way to introduce it to the audience. But before we do that, let's go for a short break.
Yes.
And come back with us playing a game.
For sure.
And surely I will win. Yeah.
We will see.
How can you compare to me?
We will see how the gods will play with us, yani.
Well, you know, I am the favorite of the goddess Ishtar of Arbelium.
Oh.
So, you know, like Ashurbanipal, I grew up in her lab, you know. So we'll go for a short break and we'll come back with you, and I will win against Lana. But first she will have to teach me. But once she has taught me, and I am all confidence that I will be the victorious player of this game, or between us two. So short break, and we'll come back with us two playing. Okay, so we are back, and now you will explain a bit the rules of the game.
Yes.
And then we'll start playing, and of course, get ready.
Good luck.
Okay, so now there are these things, cards.
Yeah. So
Well, 2 sets of cards.
we have one board game, and we have 2 different kind of cards. And
This is the instructions, I
This is
guess,
the
and some
instruction book.
information about those things.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's put this here because I have the living instruction book with me here. Real life instructions.
Yes.
And these are the cards.
If you like, I put this beside.
Yeah, and this with it. And we have these cards.
And we have 2 kings. I mean, a king and a queen.
I like the yellow.
You like
No,
the-
I like black.
You go to the dark
Let's
side.
throw some dice and see which one gets what. Okay, so let's do it here.
I hope I get the yellow.
You see, this is a good omen.
lucky you,
That's a
lucky
omen. You
you.
see, the gods have spoken. The gods have
this is the first
spoken.
step.
Yeah. Okay, but before I see all these lovely designs on these cards.
Yeah.
This looks like some kind of river, a palm tree, something. It's almost like from the Epic of Gilgamesh, where he crosses these. I can't remember what they called.
You
Pillars or something that he this or Shanabi when he helps Gilgamesh to cross to Utanapishtim.
Yes.
So that's what I think of when I see this.
Here, this would be more like when he comes from the cedar wood forest to carry all the cut woods back to Uruk through the Euphrates. But here, actually, what you can see is a kelek.
Yes.
So you see here a river and a boatsman on the kelek with the goat skins.
Being the core of the Assyrian Empire, I presume this is Tigris.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then you see a big stone, so he's carrying building materials. And this, what you can see, is also visible on the Assyrian reliefs that you can see in the museums or in the palace. It's a tool to go to a fortification wall and to break it to get the material out, so that you can reuse the
You see these
stones.
on Ashur-Natsir-Pil's
Yes.
reliefs when they attacked the city.
Yes.
And of course the river. This reminds me very much of the reliefs of Sennacherib, where he portrays the river, the fishes, the trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like everything that you see on the artwork here, like on the cards and these population cards, and these are building cards, they are all references from the relief. So they are like all original images that you can see on the different palaces from Sennacherib, Ashurbanipal,
Ashur-Natsir-Pil.
Ashur-Natsir-Pal.
Or Ashur-Natsir-Apli, properly said in Akkadian.
Yeah, from Nimrud. Let's say the palace.
Yeah.
So the idea was for me, because here in Iraq, you have the big museum in Baghdad, and Mosul, we know what happened. So people do not have really big accesses to see original objects, and most of the Assyrian reliefs are spread between 200 places. It's not only British Museum, Louvre, and Pergamon Museum.
Just like the modern Assyrians.
Yes, like we are all
Those were
everywhere.
looted, and these were forced to flee.
Yeah, so what I wanted to do, because most people can have no access to go to the museum, so at least when they play the game, they will see images that are coming from the original resources. So I want to give them the opportunity to
visualization,
see more. Yes.
to visualize.
So since they have not the chance to go to the museum,
You bring
I
the
bring
museum
to
to
them.
Okay, so bring this museum to us. What's this all about?
This is actually Ashurbanipal, and it is from the relief where he is hunting lions. So this is in the British Museum. So it's likely that most people here will never see it. So that's why I put him in this role of this card.
Okay, and this looks like, let me guess, I think this is also depicted in the British Museum, and I feel also from Sennacherib's reliefs, where you have two scribes, one writing in Akkadian, one writing on papyri.
Yes.
So maybe you should explain that. You know, I've taken over your job now.
So here you have two scribes. One, as you said, is writing on a cuneiform, on a tablet in cuneiforms, and the other is writing in Aramaic on papyrus. So the original resource from this image is like when they conquered a city, when they take the war goods, like when they looted a city, they registered everything.
The spoils.
Yeah, the Assyrian Empire, they love administration. They really loved recording everything. So for this way...
What happened now? They're not very keen on administration.
No, in Iraq, kind of this administrative thing was getting lost. But they really, if you want to see like how people love administration, I think, because people say the Germans are very much into administrating, recording everything. I think they learned it from the Assyrians, because they really recorded everything.
We're very meticulous.
Yes. And the funny thing is here, like, because he is writing in Neo-Assyrian in the cuneiform and in Aramaic in the papyrus. Do you know why two people are writing the same thing in two different documents and two different languages?
You tell me.
I ask you, maybe you know.
No, I don't know. I want to learn.
So for years, the Neo-Assyrian, which is a dialect from the Akkadian, was used as the lingua franca. So you have like a lot of letters in Armana, which is in Egypt, are in cuneiform. So this was the language that you could go around the world, like today in English. But in the second half, or in the beginning of the first millennium BC, Aramaic started to be more and more popular, coming from the west to the core of the Assyrian Empire.
Especially in the reign of King Sargon.
Yes, and the thing is, Aramaic started to have an alphabet. The cuneiform doesn't have an alphabet. So when you write in cuneiforms, it takes you longer to write a text. But when you use Aramaic, which has an alphabet, you can use a pen, actually, on paper. So this guy, writing in Aramaic, was quicker in writing the notes than the one who was writing in Akkadian or in Neo-Assyrian. So because it was more efficient to write in Aramaic getting more and more popular. But the government, the state, they were too proud of their tradition. So they always said the Assyrian language is still the one, and officially it was always Assyrian, while Aramaic was already established in everyday life. It's like we speak in Iraq also a lot of English, but our official language is Arabic and Kurdish. So
you know what this I think of with this? It's like the guy on the cuneiform.
Yeah.
It's me taking notes. And the guy on the papyri is my son texting, my teenager
Yes.
texting. You know.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's that. This
is a beautiful priest who has an assistant behind him, and they are making offerings. Like you can see, he has a jar in his hand, and there is like a big stand with fire on it, and there is a bigger pot where something is boiling. So the priests, they were busy all the time to make offers to the gods, that the god stays with them, so that the empire stays in good terms with the gods.
To appease the gods and ask for them to favor.
Yeah, because when you look at the Mesopotamian sources, how humankind was created, the gods created humans to serve them on earth so that they get feeded. So that's why the priests were really busy every day serving
feeding
the gods.
Yes.
Yes.
Would have been lovely if I was... Well, actually, my name is an ancient Assyrian god. Well, a corruption of the wrong reading, according to Oppenheim.
Yeah.
I'm Ninurta, really.
Ninurta.
Nin-ib. You remember the sign ib?
Nin-ib, yeah,
can also be Urta. So that's the Assyrian priest offering food to maybe me.
For example. But you know my last name?
Haddad.
Yes.
Haddad.
Haddad.
Yes.
It's the god of storm
storm
and rain.
Thunder.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was very prominent.
Yes, but not like god of the storm and war.
But wait. But without the rain, there is no agriculture.
Well, you know, let's compete over the game and see. We will see which one of us is the most powerful god or goddess. How about this? This looks like some kind of deportees or something.
Yeah, you have a soldier, and behind him you see 3 women, and one of the women has a child, and everyone is carrying some goods with it. So how did the Assyrian Empire really be so powerful? Because they expanded from the core more to the west. To the east, because of the mountain, they could not really advance very much. So the Zagros Mountains were like the natural borders for them. But to the west, it was kind of easy. This is also what you can see in the Akkadian Empire or beforehand. So that when you have a flat land...
No natural bordering.
And it's easy for your army to just go to the west. So every time when they conquered a region, they deported people and relocated them. So this made, especially under Sennacherib, the plain area and from Nineveh, becoming a rich resource. Like a lot of people moved there, a lot of agriculture was done, a lot of villages, cities were built. This is also like strategic, because if you want to, when you expand your empire and you want to be supported by the people, so you'd start to take the people to different spaces so that there cannot be a community to fight against you. But this was not always working. We know politics is always difficult, but this was the idea, to weaken a region and to use the manpower to grow other different areas. So Nineveh was
this
really
is what
booming.
The annals of royal annals of the Assyrian kings, Etinishi, Ashur Imnishunuma, I think I counted it among the citizens, counted them among the citizens of Assyria. But are there more cards? Or is there one that we are missing that we haven't touched on?
We had we had all. We had 5,
we have all.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we know these are you call population cards.
Yes. So like, because in the booklet I talk in general about the history of the Assyrian Empire, but the meaning of these cards or the resources of their artwork you can find on the Instagram account. Like I use the social media to put more information.
So they wouldn't be in the
this is
instructions.
Exactly, because I didn't want to overload the people with information. So I keep it like, okay, shortly I give more information so that people stay updated and have more interest themselves to discover more. So you have population cards and you have construction cards. So these are important to have enough people to build your empire. I will show you in a bit how it works. This is the board game.
So this is my people, me as in the king.
Yes.
And if I'm the king, you could be a queen. So let's think Nakia or Zakutu maybe.
Yeah, I mentioned Nakia in the book, which is actually a very inspiring person. And I think Game of Thrones...
you are.
Thank you.
So Nakia it is.
So yeah, the board game, the board is, so in general, the game is a 2-player game. And when you see the background of the game, it's a hilly mountain area, which represent the core of the Assyrian Empire. Because as you can see how much it expanded, it reached till Egypt and it reached to South Mesopotamia. But I wanted to focus on the core and also in the book how it became such a big empire. And you have the Tigris River, of course, as a borderline between me and you. And the game is actually...
And this seems to be like a mirror image. So I have the same cities as you do.
Exactly, because
Just
it's an internal fight. It's not like one empire against the other. Why I did this? Because I don't want to politicize anything. I actually want also to...
It's a game about social cohesion after all.
But the funny thing is like, you have in every period of humans that internal fights about power and who is gaining every time. Like you have it in the Abbasid period, you have it in the Assyrian Empire.
Period, the Sahadun and his...
Sennacherib was killed by his sons.
Yeah.
So that's why it's an internal fight to make the empire bigger, because this is also based on the reality. So the thing is like, I focused on 5 cities. The 4 ones are...
Ashur, Kelcho, Darsharokin, Nineveh, Erbil.
Exactly. The first 4, they were always, once upon a time, the Assyrian capital, starting with Ashur, and then after a few generations it changed to Kalhu, Dusharokin, which was actually actively only 1 year as the capital.
King Sargon's.
Exactly, but poor guy, he was killed in the field.
Yes, the only, according to the records, the only one whose body was not recovered.
That's why his son Sennacherib changed the capital to Nineveh and stopped mentioning his father ever again.
So it's not a bad omen.
Yeah.
And then from Nineveh we have Erbil.
Arba'il, which was not the capital, but very important for the Assyrian Empire because it was the main temple of Ishtar of Arba'il. You have Ishtar of Nineveh, but Ishtar of Arba'il was kind of more powerful.
More popular.
Yes.
I have these cities, you have that, you have them on your side, and Tigris separates them. And there is also, this look like a mountainous terrain type of thing.
Exactly.
That's obviously signifying
the core of the Assyrian area, exactly.
Terrain of core Assyrian Empire. And what did you say these were?
So these are construction cards, because I created the strategies of the game very logically, because when you want to start settlements, you start with a small village, and then you grow to a small town where you have people with crafts and not only doing agriculture. So you have a smith, you have a
carpenter,
polter,
somebody
somebody who, a potter, and you start to build a fortification wall to protect your city. Then you have a trade station, because when your empire grows, you
This
are having
is like
goods from
various
everywhere.
empire, really. This is how it grew, and then trade, and then Karo Kanish, for example.
Exactly, which is now in the Turkish side, where you have
Cappadocia.
Assyrian merchants going to Karankanish, where they had their own quarter, and we have a lot of letters. There are women staying in Ashur and complaining, when are you coming back?
And them complaining, why are you sending me bad textiles?
Exactly. And as 5 stage, you have a big temple, because till this day, when you have a city here, every city has a big mosque or a big church. So at the time, they had always a big temple. And at the peak, as the last stage, you have a palace. The thing is, like I said, there is stage 1 up to 6. You can only build when you have enough population settled on your settlement. And your king needs always to be present, and you can travel.
In the city where you are building.
Yes, because it is like your king needs always to be on the front line. We start at the city of Ashur, and every time
That's how it all has to be. A brave Assyrian king.
The Assyrian Empire started in Ashur. At the beginning, each player gets 5 population cards. So I have 2 here. And then later on, every time when your turn starts, you draw 3 population cards.
Okay, so now we know how to start. Let's stop here, take another break,
Yes,
and get back to me winning you.
I will peek.
I think I have a mirror behind you, you know, that I can see your cards.
Dangerous.
See, I also cheat. So we go for a short break and come back with us two continuing this game. Okay, so Lana, now I have 5 cards, and so do you. What
And
next?
You get as a gift for the beginning your first village that you can use in
Oh,
the
thank you.
first
You're so
round.
kind.
Yeah, somehow we need to start somewhere.
I
right?
can put it wherever.
When your turn starts, because at first everything is empty, so the land needs to be populated.
You just
to be
spoiled your
built.
kindness. I got excited. I wanted to start.
I will be kind to you in starting first, because this will give you advanced
Trust me,
situation.
you don't need to be kind to me for me to win. I'm already a winner.
Okay, let's see how this will work. So our king are already at Ashur. Before I can use my first village, I need to settle people there.
Yeah.
And I will settle for now just any card I like, and I will use this one. Any card I'm using, it doesn't matter what kind they are. Yani they are not related to anything. I can just use them. But their number gives me the permission to increase my settlement, because now I have 1 population card and I have the first settlement with stage 1. If I want to continue 2 or 3, I need to have more population.
So this with the river, does it also have other functions that I could use it for?
Yeah, any population card has 3 functions. The first function is like to use it to settle,
To build.
to have population,
Yeah.
to continue.
The more without population you cannot progress.
Exactly.
So that's one function.
The second function is you can use it to travel with your king between the cities, because on the bottom of each card you have a symbol.
No, I know which card you have.
Arbail.
Yes,
So if I want to travel to Arbail, I look, this card, the priest card, has
matches
the same
symbol here. Yeah.
So I discard it, and then
Interesting.
I take
It's
my
all
king.
that's also the Ishtar star of
Exactly.
Ishtar. Yeah.
Very good connection.
Okay.
So this is like hidden messages that I have in the game, so that people are like, oh, that's why. Because everything is chosen by a specific thought of me. It's not like
Like there is a pre-thought to it. It's not
Yes.
just
Yes.
And once I use it to relocate from city to another, I burn my card.
Yes,
Okay.
because everything you do, you need to sacrifice.
Okay.
And nothing comes easy. So this was the second, to
Okay.
travel
So
with
now
your king.
take your
I will sacrifice it to go to my hometown,
Okay.
Erbil.
Yes, all right.
The other thing is to use the power of the different characters. So we have 5 characters. We showed it before.
Yeah, so the scribes, the soldiers with the portees, The river and
Kelek guy.
river transport.
The priest.
The priest and what else did you have?
Ashurbanipal, the king card.
Ashurbanipal, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me the other functions.
So there are each of them have a specific power. The king card destroys the settlement completely. The builder on the Kelek, he goes and picks up the uppermost stage of your city and takes it to their own.
Yeah.
The priest prays and takes a higher stage from the cards here to increase the building. The scribe, the one who knows languages, who is smart, who is diplomatic, he convinces your population to change their side to come to me. So your people will betray you.
This is the Sennacherib's Rabshak on Jerusalem's doors with
Yes.
Ezekiel. Yeah. Okay.
And you have the soldier who deports the people. So I would take your population cards and would put them out of the game. So these are the 5 functions. But you can only use them when you have 3 of the same kind at one side and when your king is available. And you can only attack the opposite city.
Okay. So
and one more thing. The only thing that you can do once in the round is migration. Like wherever your king is, you can tell 3 population cards to change to another city. But this is only once in a round. Everything else you can do many times. Okay, when I finish my round, I open up 2 construction cards, which will be available for you.
They are all numbered also.
Yes. Like here you have now 5 and 1, and it's your turn to start.
Okay, let me see what I can do. I think I understood the game. Now, for me to understand the game, I need... No, I'll do this here, so I can have this here.
Yes. So you're building your first village.
Yeah, see, I'm already smart. I'll burn this.
And you travel to Kalku.
That means I, the king, come to Kalku. That means I can take this.
But you need first people.
Okay,
because
easy.
Without the power of people, you cannot build.
Here we go, for your eyes only. Okay. And here I am. So now, what do I do? Do I draw or
no,
do I...
you draw 2 construction cards to finish your round.
Okay, so 1. I needed that.
Yeah, but
Because I could have built it here.
No, it's for me.
Okay, so, and now, oh.
Oh, very good.
But you're not there, you need to be there, right?
Yeah, but because you made me travel.
Yeah, see?
So I have 3 population
When can I
cards
draw?
from when your turn starts.
When it comes to my turn, okay.
So I had 3 population cards left from my first round, and now my round starts, and I take 3 new population cards into my hand. Don't peek. Very nice. I like my cards. So what I do, I travel back to Ashur, where I have 1 population card and village to stage 1.
I already know what you wanted to do. Now
So-
then you will have stage 2.
Yes, I have stage 2 here and 3 available, but I cannot take them unless
So
I
you
am
put a
putting
population card there.
And
Let me teach you how to do this. Put a population card there, and now that becomes
Stage 2,
2. So now village to town.
town.
Okay. Now put another population card there.
Said ciao.
See? Chaveta Sarbi. Okay, now you get to put 3, right?
Exactly.
Now, do you have a priest?
I do have, but
You
I
don't
don't
want
have
to...
3. I have only 1.
you could... you need 3 priests
Yeah, I have here scribes
to
now.
skip from 3 to 5.
Yes, exactly. If I would have 3 priests, I could do this.
Am I getting this quickly?
You're getting it right.
Now, so you
But
flip
now
now.
I can't do anything else, so I open up 2 construction cards again, and this is 4 and 4.
No.
And of course, when you take this, you can also take the one underneath if you are capable of. Yeah, when you have enough people, whatever.
I have a lot of people,
but
but it doesn't show.
You can take more.
Okay. So now, that's how many? 3 or 5?
3.
3. So now I'm trying to avoid you seeing my cards.
You know, in Arabic they say الثالثة ثابتة,
Meaning
meaning the third one is the
ultimate.
one.
Yeah.
So that's why every time when you start your round, you take 3 population cards. Every time when you want to use the power of the population cards, you need 3 of the same kind. When you want to do migration, you need always 3 cards, not less, not more. So in this game, الثالثة ثابتة. You can use this as a reminder.
ثالثة ثابتة. So now let's see. What do I do? I can't use any of these, right?
Yeah, but then you can travel and populate people, or you can keep all the cards, but this will make your difficulties in making any decisions later.
How would it? Oh, that's Nino.
That's the nice thing of this game. You can travel a lot.
So, that's here.
This is Dur Sharukin.
That comes here. So, Dar Sharukin. I give it Dar Sharukin. That means later on I can use it.
Yes.
So now, that's Ninoa. I'll put that Ninoa there.
Oh, I see what you are doing. That's
So
a
I
nice
put it
strategy.
here, and I bring it here. So, when,
Yeah.
you know,
I
the
see.
gods favor me, I could build it in here. So now I flip this, right?
Yes, 2
Okay,
of
so,
them. Yeah, it's the funny thing is like every time I play this game with somebody,
so I'm already thinking strategically, aren't I?
yes, but
But,
you are using
But it's just like, it's almost like playing backgammon, where the dice
yeah.
can also, it's not just how good you are.
Yeah,
it's what you get out of your dice. So now, you see, I didn't get one. And now you get 1 and 2 twice. Which means, you know, they are favoring you.
I think they are favoring me very much.
So Haddad seems to be more powerful than Ishtar in this case today.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So I travel here to Dur Sharukin. Oh, sorry, before I do this.
Oh, no, you can't go back.
Okay. I will, okay.
That's cheating.
Okay. I do migration. I take these 3 and bring them here because you didn't give me the chance to go back.
How do you do that? Do you have to burn a card to do that?
No, the migration card is only like the king calling the population from one settlement to another.
And when the king calls, the
Then-
people obey.
But he can do it always once in a round.
Okay.
So I have these 3 population cards settled at Dur Sharukin. So now I can take the 1 and I can take the 2 here. But I can't take the
Because
4.
there are no 3.
Yeah. I will
Threes.
put here another population card. So I have here 3 scribes. This gives me the permission, because my king is here, to use the power. The power of the scribe was the diplomat, the scribe, the...
Thank God I've only got 1 population
Thank
card.
God
You
for
could have
you.
taken all of them, couldn't you?
I could have go and take all of them and only sacrifice 1 of them.
Okay.
But because you have only 1 population, I have mercy.
Okay, so let's do just this last round before we are running out of the
look.
time.
There's
And
the
then
one.
we will tell the people later on who won.
Yes.
But surely I would. So now 1, 2. Okay, finally. Hallelujah. Okay.
Finally.
Do I take 3?
Yes, you can take 3.
Okay, so 3. Or maybe 4. So 1, 2. So I have 1 here, right? Oh no, there is no 2 there. What
But you
do
can
I
take the 1 already. Because you have already 1
Unless-
population card.
okay, I take the 1 here.
No,
Right.
here. The king is
Ah,
at
where
me
the
now.
king is, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so 1 there. What do I do next? No 3, no 4.
You don't have 3 priests?
3 priests. You know what? I have a very good idea. I
Okay.
think now is the perfect time to end this show.
Because you're losing.
Okay, so Lana, it's been lovely interviewing you today. And thank you for being a guest of mine today.
Thank you very much.
And
It was
I
an
am sure we will do more interviews. And I would love to see this also available in the West, because since we are speaking English, I think it will be the diaspora that will benefit from this interview.
Working on it.
Yeah, and I think they would be eager to access this game. So as a wrap-up, what next? The game is done. What next? What plans do you have?
So my idea is like this, to make a series out of it, because I have already tested the market, let's say. People love the game. Like I played with 10-year-old boy or with people who are already 30, 40. Everybody loves the game. It's nice. And I like to provide more games like this. So the idea is like to improve this into making it to 4-player games. When I have done this, to make a redesign and then publish it here and outside. And of course, having it accessible in many different languages, so to spread the knowledge more, but also the joy of playing. So really the goal for 2021 is to go professional with it in other countries too, but also having a series, because this focus on the Assyrian Empire, but Mesopotamia has more to offer.
Yeah.
And my goal is to have
Sumerian,
a series
Akkadian, Babylonian.
and more other that are not known, because Sumerian, Akkadian are dominating the history of Mesopotamia, but you have Urartu, you have Mitanni, and you have the Kassite, you have so many other...
True. Elam.
Elam, exactly. You have so much, like we have such a rich history. So I'd like to make a series to give all of them more a spotlight, a space, because Akkad and Babylon and Assyria took a lot of space in the past 100 years. So it's time for the other empires to come up and show Mesopotamia is really, really rich, and we have so much, and we can learn still to this day a lot of them.
Tell you what, this is an excellent game for happy hours after dinner on excavations.
Yes.
I can see myself playing this on the excavations I have joined. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for inviting me here. It was lovely to play with you, and we will play again and see if really he can beat the creator.
Yeah. Well, I am sure I will.
Inshallah.
I have the favors of the gods.
Let's see what Adad will say about this.
I wasn't lucky today, but thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It was an honor.
Thank you. Honor's all mine. خيار جديدة لخم طايو خل ختام الداها خرزة هل تبقى خموخن بخا خرزة خينا. This was in Assyrian, of course, me concluding the today's episode, but in English, thank you very much for being with us. Until next time, ciao.